This business, price charting is an essential tool that you use daily because it's how you go for the average price of a game. Everyone kind of knows that. There's other metrics as well, especially when you have a physical store, but price charting is kind of the way to go, right? And we've been getting a lot of people lately doing one of two things. One is they're sending us their collection and saying, this is how much it's worth on price charting. What can you do as a percentage of that? And I don't really want to talk about that necessarily. I think I've addressed it in other videos. You know, it's not about what price charting is saying your game is worth. It's about what we can sell it for in the store.
Oh, really? Oh, because I find that funny because don't you guys use price charting for even your own video games? So I guess Madden 95 on the Sega Genesis is worth $1,000 because I say it is. You see, there's no integrity as to what you're saying because I can guarantee that all the games that you have on this wall is all priced according to price charting.
And I'll give two examples. A lot of our N64 is a little more expensive than price charting, so we can pay more as a percentage. Our 360 and like PS3, we price lower than price charting, so we're going to give you lower than PS3. So that's kind of like what we do for the buying aspect. But it's more the selling. What's happening a lot lately is people are coming in saying that, oh, this game's going for this price on price charting, that's what I want to pay. And it doesn't work that way. That's price charting, which is online value selling.
But if it's just price charting, then why are you taking the prices from price charting for even your own You know, see, this is the problem, man. And I seen this whole video, and to be honest, you really try to rob this man over some video games, man. This dude came to you, you talking about taxes this, taxes that. Man, you really out here looking like the dad from Rocket Power, man. What are you doing? You know, this what happens. Reggie need to go back to his shack.
Online, right? Local stores are going to be different.
That's what he looks like.
Sometimes lower, sometimes higher. And we had a client last week, and Steph was here. Steph had a crazy busy week last week. Man, worked the store by himself. So kudos to Steph. But this dude wanted a lot of higher end NES games. This guy from New Brunswick contacts us, and this is not out of the question, you know. And if you're in the States, New Brunswick is a couple provinces over, so you know, at best, it's a good 8-9
Now, I understand that price charting could obviously be misleading. We get that, but it serves as a constant reminder, or should I say a reference, as to what people should be spending on some of these beloved video games. You get what I'm saying? Because if who's to say that Mario 64 is even worth the price it is? Oh, that's right, price charting and what people are willing to pay for it, which you do no different than your store. That's why you said I price it a little higher than what you see on price charting. So sellers and even consumers are all using this as a form of reference as to what they should sell their game at. Now, if you don't want to sell it at that price, that's perfectly fine, but let's continue with this video, shall we?
Or drive from here. So he contacts us and asking if we have some of the NES games on his list. He needs about 150 games or so to complete his collection, really some high-end stuff. And some mid-tier stuff as well.
Don't downplay the man's collection.
So we went through our store, and we got a stack of games for him. And they're actually right behind me, right here. Hey, look at that. And we got as many games as we could from his list. We sent him a picture of the games and told him the price. I think it was $9.75 or something like that, right? And the whole time, he's super friendly, super great. And even towards the end, he's great. I don't want to say that this was a bad conversation. This is just a conversation we're having a lot lately, and I need to talk about it. YouTube. Anyway, so $9.75, and then he counters with $9.20, saying that we're a little high. According to price charting, it should be closer to like $8.60, I think it was. And anyway, I can't remember the exact number. So he counters saying that we're over on price charting. It's not $9.75. And then Joe was actually messaging with him at this time, and he said, well, our games include the taxes. So you're actually looking at, the games are actually around $8.60.
So why is it not $8.60 then? You just said it included the taxes. I mean, what's up with this upcharge of $9.75 though? It says it right here. Let me show y'all people. So if that's what the price ends up with, include tax, because that's what you said, works out to around $863. So where did this whole $9.75 come from? So he said if I pay cash, does $8.50 work, right? and you're like, hey, Mike, whether it's cash or transfer, the price will still need to include the taxes. But you just said it did in the message, though, which works around the 863 that you mentioned. But yet you want to make it seem like as if he was the problem. If you grab all the games, you'll be looking at 970. Where does this 975 come from? Because according to this top message, it says our prices include the 13%, which works out to 863, right? So where's this whole 975 coming from?
Which is the truth, because we include our local taxes inside.
So you go as far to say that the man's telling the truth. So he said I'll pay $850 cash, right? So where's this whole tax argument coming into? At the end of the day, the man wasn't trying to pay $975 for something that you overpriced. You try to overprice this man, bro. Your own messages incriminated you. You just said, hi, Mike, our prices include 13%, which works out to $863, which is still lower than what you're trying to sell it. Come on, guys. Listen, man, I understand that you're the dad from Rocket Power, but man, come on, bro. This this is not something. I mean, your kids were skateboarding and rollerblading, and this is what their dad is doing. This is this is crazy, man. Nickelodeon would be ashamed of you. This is ridiculous.
Prices, and he counters with $850 after that, saying I'll pay cash. And it's like, well, no, this isn't. You can't just pay cash and avoid the taxes.
So why can't he pay $863 then? Why does he have to pay $975? The man just said it included with the tax of $863. So if anything, he should be able to pay $863 for what he's looking for. Where is this whole $975 coming from? I still don't even understand. You want to keep talking about tax this and tax that, but you just said that it was included and it works out around $863. Come on, man.
We have to do the taxes. I'm sorry. It's a thing. Okay?
So why is it not $863 then? How come you're not charging him $863, but instead it's $975? Explain. So what is this? It's some extra super duper tax that you put on? Where's Heck and Steve when you need them?
And, we talked about the tax thing a lot on this channel.
Oh, man, here we go.
The best way I can describe it is like when the store was tax-free for those 2 months in January and February, when they had the tax break, everything in this store, we subtracted the taxes at the cash because we include the prices already. So like a $10 game was like $9 kind of thing. So we talked about the tax thing. So I think what frustrated me and Joe about this interaction was just, well, this is what it says here. That's the price. And it's like, that's not how it works.
So if I went and said, hey, I want this $100 game for $5, what are you going to say? Oh, that's not what people... You know what, bro? I can't believe you even taking this stance on, man. You should have sold it for the $850. He might even went with $863. I think he even went as far to say, I'll even pay $900. But you really try to upcharge this man and overprice him. That was the problem as to what was going on here, man. And for a lot of people that are going to probably defend the store, because you're always going to have people that are going to defend these type of people, at the end of the day, you should have sold it. Because I know damn well I wouldn't have spent more than $975 on that crap that you're selling. Especially if I can get it cheaper. Like, what are you talking? Oh, but it's taxes. Bro, ain't nobody want to hear that. You just said it was already included, which would round out to $863. That is what you said, which also shows you that your games are overpriced by over $100, which is what he's saying on high-end price charting. That's what he's trying to tell you. You get what I mean? But anyways,
the price.
Let's hear that again.
Frustrated me and Joe about this interaction was just, well, this is what it says here. That's the price, and it's like that's not how it works. Okay.
Well, you sure that's not how it works? Okay, so you see that NES Classic Edition? I want to give you $10. I don't care what it says on price charting. According to I don't care. I want it for $10. Well, sir, we can't sell it. It's worth more than $10 than what you're willing to pay. No, I want it for $10. Price charting makes no sense, right? You could price things according to what you believe it's worth, right? I think that's worth $10. So therefore, you have to sell it to me for $10. If anything, price charting is what makes it safe between sellers as well as customers of what this person was willing to pay for. You get what I'm saying? You really did wrong in this situation, man.
Prices in our store are set to sell at our store. in Ottawa, and that's the way it works.
Okay, so the man said he paid cash, which also means that he would have. What the? Hold on, I'm confused. Oh, the prices of the store. The man just said he paid to you in cash, which means that if he's paying you in cash, I'm assuming he. You know what? What did that mean? He would have to go in the store to pay. Okay, you know what, man? Just go ahead, Reggie. Just go ahead.
I probably wouldn't have been too against giving like a little bit of a deal on this one, just because it was a pretty high amount. But generally speaking, NES, Super Nintendo, N64, we really don't move on those. They're hard to get in, and they're very desirable. And I don't want to move on carts when I know I can sell it eventually, right? And I feel
well, guess what? You could have sold it, but instead you rather fight for a few dollars and overprice the things that you have, which means that nobody's going to buy it, bro. And I can guarantee that nobody's going to continue to buy anything that you have because it's overpriced. How are you more expensive than price charting? If anything, you should be the same. Maybe a little bit, okay, because, whatever. Like I said, that's fine. But where did this whole $975 come from? $900. Right there, $900. But where's the $75 coming from? It's taxes. What do you mean taxes? You just said you included it with the price.
Already went out of the way for this guy.
No, you didn't.
And like I said,
you did not go out of the way for this guy. You said it's either you pay $975 or nothing at all. That's what you said. I seen the messages, bro. For real, make sure you guys share this video around. This is crazy that this man is out here telling people, oh, we try to work with him. Then how come you didn't just sell it for $863 of what you said it was rounded out to? $900 if you want to price it a little bit more higher, which would be more reasonable to you. You didn't do that. You're saying that he got to pay $975, and this guy's like, why do I have to pay more for something that's cheaper on price charting? That makes no sense.
Was crazy busy last week. He did all this stuff, took the pictures and everything. We got him a price. He didn't like it. And then he went from $920 down to like $850. And it's like, no, dude, you don't do that. And
he only did that because that's what you said. You said that it rounded out. You try to test this man's intelligence. I can tell that this guy knows his stuff. You didn't like the fact. You just wanted him to pay $975 and then take his NES games and go home with it. Right? This is why price charting is very important. Now, I understand it can be misleading and people can manipulate it in some form or fashion, but at the end of the day, it's what helps sellers get the value of what they have, and as well as the consumer not being gypped off of games that is overpriced, like what you did with $975.
Basically told him that we just don't move on our prices. Anyway, it left a sour taste in my mouth. I didn't like it, and this is happening a lot lately. It's been happening a lot, and I get it. Like, before I owned the store, I was like religiously about price charting. It says $6. It should be a $6 game.
You're still doing it though. You're still doing it. You just said you priced your PS3 and 360 games a little lower than price, which is fine. Nobody's going to tell you how to run the store. But even me, I'm starting. Why is it over $100? You just said the value. Essentially, the value of it is $863, including the taxes. So where's this whole $975 coming from? Where did that come from? And then on top of that, even though you said, well, we don't like to move on that, you could have sold it for $900. I think he would have went down with that. He's just going based off what you said. Then you're like, oh, okay, well, he says, well, if it's really rounds out to $863, I'll give you $850. How you going to sit there and make it seem like this man's the villain in all this when you're the one that put out this information? Even to the point that we all seen it.
Price charting is an idea, right? And as a store owner, I have to pay what is actually, or I have to buy games at what they're actually going to sell at later on. So that's kind of where we're at with that. I wanted to talk about that a little bit.
But most stores like take 25 or 30% off the top. They take 25, 30%. So regardless, even as soon as you put it on the shelf and it sells, you've already made your profit because you've already took 25 or 30% off the profit margin of what the person traded it. Bro, you ain't fooling nobody with this, man. Y'all better make sure you get Heck and Steve on this because I'm telling you, man, you was lying, bro. And we can all see it, man. There was no reason for that, for why all those NES games, even with the price tags, you could price all that up, and it did not equate to $975. You know damn well what you're doing is wrong, man.
But what do you guys think? And like, do you look at it also from a store owner's perspective, or is it strictly from the perspective of the client?
I look at it from the perspective of both. He uses price charting to make sure that he's not getting gypped off, and you use price charting to make sure that you're getting the full value of what you own. It's that simple. You use price charting too. Because if you didn't, oh, I see you got Panzer Dragoon there. I want to give you $20 for it. Well, sir, I can't sell it to you. Why? Because price charting said it's worth more money and people are more willing enough to spend more money than that. Oh, there you go. So I guess we all use price charting, right?
Because I've been in both shoes prior to owning a store, and I actually totally get both. And by the way, I totally get the idea of asking for a deal. There's nothing wrong with asking. Say, hey, can you shave off a few bucks?
And that's exactly what he did. But the funny thing is, I don't think he was trying to do that purposely. I think he was genuinely trying to give you the value of what you had, and you just kept saying, $9.75, $9.75, $9.75. That's what you kept doing. $9.75, we don't budge on our prices. Now you want to sit there talking about, we was going to give him a deal, then why y'all didn't settle for $900? I think it even said he was like $9.25. And you're like, oh, well, it equates to $863. So he's like, okay, I'll pay you 50 cash. So you kind of set yourself up for these traps. He didn't do anything besides rebuttal everything you were saying.
Fine with you asking.
Just say, hey, I don't move on the prices, but, you want to settle for $900. That's it. And he could have chose, okay, okay, whatever. But you try to make a whole game out of it. You expected this man to pay you $975 for things that is way more higher on price charting. Like, that's crazy.
You have to be fine with me saying no. I think a lot of people just expect that yes. And I've said this many times on the channel, like I've got stuff in this store that's been here for years. You pick out that item that I've had for 3 years, and you say, can I get a bit of a discount on it? I probably am going to move on it, right? I'll check to see what it's going for online, just to make sure.
Which I assume is price charting, which you're out here demonizing, but go ahead.
But, we're reasonable.
You're so reasonable that you out here, look at that laugh. Try to buy my kids some new skateboards on Rocket. Who would have thought one of my favorite Nickelodeon television shows would end up like this, where he's out here robbing people out of his game store. You and that Hawaiian should have still ran that what is that milkshake shack.
But price charting is not like this ultimate Bible, and I guess the final thing I'll say on that is,
I like how he edited that part, because the funny thing is you use that though. That's how you have the prices for your games and your accessories, because you use it as well.
Ultimately, we were below price charting, right? And he still wasn't satisfied with that answer. And I think also sometimes you just can't satisfy everyone. Everyone has an idea about what they want, what they want.
You wasn't below that. You said, man, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Like I said, make sure you guys share this video around. I know this type of content might be a little different for most, but hey, like I said, I know some people will enjoy this. Make sure you guys share it, man, because this man really out here telling people that he was trying to get his man a deal, but instead you try to rob this man for over 100 and something more bucks. Even though you said yourself that even with the taxes, it rounds up to 863. Come on now. You know what? Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Take care. Peace out.